Barbacoa in Mexico is done with a whole animal in a pit in the ground. But I've figured out a way that you can translate that technique to something you can do on your grill in the backyard. And instead of a whole lamb, I'm going to use the bone-in shoulder roast. Now the first thing that we have to do is to make the red chili marinade. Typically it's made from whole chili pods, guajillo pods, or ancho pods. I'm going to start by sauteing a little bit of garlic in some hot oil. When that's really aromatic, I'm going to add ancho chili powder. Now this is just the pure ground ancho pod. Then I'm going to add some Mexican oregano, some cider vinegar, some salt and sugar, and let that cook until it's really dark. Then I'm going to add water and let it simmer for a few minutes. Cool all that off and it's ready to use. Now instead of that pit in the ground that's traditional in Oaxaca, I'm going to use a roasting pan, a V-shaped roasting rack. I'm going to actually put the ingredients for the soup in the bottom of the roasting pan, then put my lamb on that roasting rack above it so that all those beautiful juices can drip right down and flavor that soup. Now to make that soup, I'm going to start by cutting up a couple of carrots, some potatoes also in the small little cubes, a couple of cloves of garlic. I'm just going to cut them in half after I peel them. A small onion, chopped. A can of garbanzo beans, and I'm just going to tip off all the canning liquid. A few leaves of that favorite herb from southern Mexico, the one that's called epazote. 2 quarts of water and a teaspoon of salt. That'll be enough to get me started. I can come back and season the broth when it's done. Now I'm going to nestle this roasting rack down into our soup ingredients, just like that. Lay some avocado leaves in there. Now the bone-in lamb shoulder roast is going to go on top of those leaves. And then the cooled off marinade, I'm going to spoon that over and around this. Some of that will fall down into the soup to give it flavor as well. The rest of our avocado leaves to give more flavor to the top part of this lamb roast. And then a layer of foil over the whole roasting pan. Now I've set up the grill for what's called indirect cooking, meaning that I've got the fire all on one side of the grill. Then I'm going to slide our lamb barbacoa on the other side of the grill. Now I'm going to let this cook for about 4 hours, but every 30 minutes or so, I'm going to go in and add a little bit more charcoal so that I can keep a consistent heat in this. And I'm going to check to see if the water level is about the same. If it seems to be evaporating, I'm going to add a little bit more liquid, cover it back up, and then close it up and let it continue cooking. The typical salsa that's served with the traditional Oaxacan style barbacoa is a very simple one. It's made from roasted tomatillos, a little roasted garlic, and a smoky hot chili. It's called a chile pasilla oaxaqueño, or a Oaxacan style pasilla chili. It's a little hard to find in the United States, and when I can't find it, I go for the canned chipotle. Now to make this simple sauce, the first thing you have to do is to husk the tomatillos and then roast them. Since I'm outside, I'm just going to roast them in a skillet on the grill until they're sort of blotchy black in places and completely soft. Alongside the tomatillos, I'm going to roast a few cloves of garlic still in their little papery skins until they're completely soft. While those are roasting, I'm going to toast the dried chilies in a skillet over medium heat, flip them over, press them down to toast the other side, put them into a bowl, cover them with hot tap water, slide a plate on top to keep them submerged, and let them soak for about 20 minutes or so. When the chilies are ready, take them out of their soaking liquid, drop them in a blender along with the peeled garlic and the roasted tomatillos, and turn the blender on and let it go until you've got a coarse puree. The final step is to get the right consistency in the salsa, so you may want to add a little bit of water to it to make it sort of easily spoonable. And then season it with salt and just a touch of sugar if you think that that'll help to bring out that beautiful smoky spiciness of the Oaxacan pasilla. Now this is the moment. Pull this foil off of here. Take these leaves off the top. Sort of pick it up now. Start taking the meat off the bone. Beautiful. Now I'm going to lay that onto our serving platter. A little coarse salt or flaked salt to sprinkle over the top of it right now. And I have some parsley, classic accompaniment in Oaxaca that may surprise a lot of people. And now to this flavorful consommé, smoky with so much wonderful lamb flavor. Have plenty of fresh hot corn tortillas to serve with your lamb barbacoa, the classic, simple, smoky Oaxacan salsa, and your consommé. This is a Oaxacan feast.